To be a top salesperson, yes, you need to get the customer to agree to buy your car. But in this video, I'm going to share with you how getting client commitment starts very early on in your road to the sale process. Hi, I'm Adrian and a mistake that far too many salespeople make in this industry is attempting to get strong client commitment as early as step one of the process. How often do you hear, "If I can get you a good deal, will you buy today?" I know this line still gets used a lot in the industry, but personally, I don't like it at all, especially when the salesperson has been with the customer for less than 5 minutes. To do this right, I'm talking about getting smaller commitments throughout the road to the sale. So when you come to the bigger question of, would you like to buy the car, the customer has already been primed for the bigger yes at the end. First things first, however, as an automotive sales coach, I highly recommend you dropping the word commitment when you speak to customers or partners. It may be a guy thing and may even help the ladies to know this next bit of information. And if you're a guy watching this video right now, do you honestly like commitment? When I ask participants in my seminar to raise their hands if they like commitment, 99% of the men, their arms stay close to their sides. If a man has a female partner and the partner says, "Would you like to make me happy?" often the man will say, "Yes, of course." However, the same partner asks for a commitment, some will run for the hills. It's pretty strange when you think about it. It can be the same for customers though, so why run the risk of it being off-putting? If you are attempting to get a deposit, for example, instead of the word commitment, try using the word secure. For an example, Mr. Jones, you just need to leave a $500 deposit via Visa or MasterCard. That secures the car for you if we can get that price. Compare it to this. Mr. Jones, you just need to leave a $500 deposit via Visa or MasterCard. That is your commitment to buy the car if we can do that price. The first one is so much better than the last one. Now the next part is equally as important, if not more so. Successful closes are the accumulation of smaller closes throughout the road to the sale process. So many managers tell me that the salespeople need help closing deals. Have they closed on rapport, on qualifying, on the walk-drive appraisal? Often when I get a breakdown of salespeople's stats, it's not the closing where the issue lies. On many occasions, it's not enough bums on seats or potentially people not being written up enough. Now, each of those things requires a small client commitment to occur. And another great question to ask is, has the customer agreed to follow the next part of the process that we've outlined? My original automotive sales coach called this establishing expectations, while some others call it signposting. Basically, it's where you tell a customer what's going to happen before it happens. It's simple, but extremely powerful. Let's say that I've done a good meet and greet and I've built some rapport with Mrs. Smith. I could then say something like this: "Mrs. Smith, let's just take a seat for a moment and I'll simply ask you a few questions to find out exactly what it is that you want and need in a car, and then I can show you some vehicles. Would that be okay?" Now, if Mrs. Smith agrees to that, who's in control of the process? That's right, I am. And it's a tiny client commitment to follow our process of qualifying without the customer knowing that we're doing so. As I said before, it's simple but extremely powerful. You can use this technique at various stages of the sales process to set up the next stage. Imagine doing it just before you go for a test drive to set up when you get back. An example of how you could do that could be this: "Mrs. Smith, if it's okay with you, I'll just explain our test drive process. I'll drive out of the dealership, and whilst you're relaxing, I'll point out some of the great features and benefits of this car. We can then go to the local park. It's really nice and quiet there. I'll stop and open the vehicle up, give you a good presentation and answer any questions that you may have. And then you can have a drive. If you prefer, you can go down the back streets to get a good feel of the vehicle before heading back to the dealership. After that, if you're happy with everything, we can go through some figures and see how we can make this car very affordable for you, Mrs. Jones. How does that sound?" If Mrs. Jones says something like, "That sounds good," how's that for a client commitment? It's gold. With the time that we've got available here, the last piece of advice I'd like to give you on this topic is to ask lots of good questions, because then you can recap what the customer said to you. Do this and it also classifies as a small client commitment. And having visited several dealerships recently that are not my clients, it was really very disappointing that most of the salespeople didn't ask hardly any questions at all. So you have to know your customer, who they are and what they need and use the car for. Unless you have that as a bare minimum, how can you expect them to secure a car from you? As your sales coach, if you'll let me be that, I'm here to share with you that you can't. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. There's some gold nuggets in here, so feel free to watch it again and contact us for more information. I'm Adrian Law from Automotive Stars, and happy selling.